Yo, yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Fro, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite flicks, 13 Ghosts, starring Tony Shalhoub, Shannon Elizabeth, and Matthew Lillard. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. This is one of my favorite childhood movies, and I know this one doesn't really sit well with a couple people out there due to how wonky the story elements are and how the sound mixing can be at times. I know that was a big nitpick, especially during its theatrical release. But I gotta say, I think the cast is fantastic. Tony Shalhoub plays a very likable character as Arthur Criticos, the father of the family, who gets to inherit this creepy, desolate glass house from his late uncle. Shannon Elizabeth plays the daughter Kathy, and Michael Speedle plays the son Bobby. Now, moving on to the overall design for the ghosts in this film. I think they're fantastic. The practical makeup is wonderfully done, handcrafted. In fact, there's only a bit of CGI in this movie, and it's nothing is done on the ghosts. It's actually really refreshing going back and rewatching the movie after going through a sea of films that contain terrible CGI on their creatures. All around the board, very well done. I want to talk about the story arcs and the backgrounds for the ghosts in a separate video. Just for now, I want to just list them one by one. I think the standout ghosts for me are the Jackal, who I remember when I was a kid, that was the one that freaked out a lot of us. We would go to school and be like, who was your favorite ghost? Or who was the one that freaked you out the most? Jackal was always the one that popped up. We have the firstborn son, the creepy kid with the arrow through his head that can pop up on the walls in a split second. We have the torso, the dude who's just flinging around without a head and any legs, and he's just screaming. We have the bound woman, and she's one of my least favorite ghosts out of the film. She's kind of there for me. And we also have the withered lover, which is the saddest one in my opinion and the friendliest one because it's Arthur's late wife. She's walking around in her hospital gown the last time that the family's seen her. Pretty sentimental, and I think it works for the film. We also have the torn prince, who's one of the more badass ghosts, I would say. He's swinging around a baseball bat. The famous angry princess, who is topless and nude throughout the movie, but definitely creepy, especially in the shower sequence when Shannon Elizabeth she's getting water from the bathtub, splashing it on her face, and then we see the angry princess inside there, and the water turns blood red, literally blood. And then right as Shannon Elizabeth is about to wash the blood on her face, the angry princess is about to stab her. That one was a pretty effective scene for me, definitely. The pilgrimess doesn't really do much for me. She's the one that's nailed to the wood, and she's just running and chasing after you. Kind of take it or leave it. We have the Great Child and the Dire Mother, and these two always disturbed me for some reason. Like, they're kind of there as well, but whenever they pop up, they don't really seem too harmful, especially the mother. The big guy is imposing for sure. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. These two just make me feel kind of icky. And one of my favorite guys, the Hammer. And this dude is somebody you do not want to F with, especially if you're cornered in a dark hallway and you find yourself toe to toe. It's a wrap. This dude got nails all over him, and it's really grotesque when he pulls the nails out of his skin. And a very intimidating figure, to say the least. This dude has problems. And last but not least, we have the Juggernaut, who reminds me of a way more nasty looking Dolph Lundgren. This dude is giant, he's brutish, and the opening sequence with Matthew Lillard and how he's seeing everybody get slaughtered, all his teammates or his colleagues, if you will. There's also another really cool moment in the same scene where one of the agents gets trapped in between one of the cars and his body splits in half. But yeah, back to the performances. I do think Matthew Lillard steals the show as Dennis Rathkin. He plays a character that's plagued with these really disturbing visions, and anytime somebody touches him, it can trigger really sensitive emotions and flashbacks or even premonitions of what's going to happen in the future. Personally, this is my favorite turn from Matthew Lillard. Technically, he has been better in other films, but he's a lot of fun as this character in 13 Ghosts. Definitely steals the show every time he pops up. He's damn near the comedic relief, but he has some pretty serious moments too, especially near the finale. And spoilers, His sacrifice in the film is damn near the best moment for me, and it makes me appreciate the character even more. And he eventually becomes the 13th Ghost, if I remember off the top of my head. Sorry for the lighting right now, but moving back to the plot, spoilers again, we have F. Murray Abraham playing Arthur's uncle, Cyrus, who hasn't been dead, who's faked it the whole time, and he has an evil plan for Arthur to become the 13th Ghost ultimately. And we have a strange woman named Kalina, played by M. Beth Davids, who I remember from Fallen and Matilda, playing Matilda's teacher. She plays a rather different role here where we think that Kalina is on Arthur's side in the first place, but she does a twist of events and she becomes a scumbag character that double crosses and backstabs Arthur. She's revealed to be working with Cyrus the whole time, and she's even fallen in love with him even though he doesn't want her. I like the character at first with how she's solving the clues and how she's putting two and two together for Arthur and the gang, but there we go, the lighting's back. It's not a big nitpick, but still, like, every time I watch the movie I'm like, damn, I feel like there could have been a better resolution or a better way to go out. But I will say, spoilers, her death scene is really cool. How she gets smashed in between the elevator. Or she gets smashed between like glass panels that close. It is a bit CGI, but I don't mind it. I still think it's pretty cool. Rod Digger, one of my favorite MCs, pops up as the nanny of the family. And she does have some pretty decent screen time throughout the film. In fact, I was always surprised to see her character survive it all, especially on my first watch. Because I was always used to seeing a lot of the black characters get killed either first or second early on in a horror film. And it always surprised me to see Rod Digger, her character's name's Maggie, to see Maggie survive such a creepy premise. J.R. Bourne plays the really slimy lawyer who pops up and is the one that gives the key over to Arthur and the family to access the house. As much as I love the practical effects, 10 out of 10, 100%, the CGI could have been a bit better, especially when showcasing the machinery around how the house operates, specifically with the grinding gears and the metals. It's really cheap looking. The house design overall is really cool, especially when some of our characters in the nick of time barely escape with their lives through a glass panel that's barely shutting. The scumbag lawyer is not too lucky, and his death scene's actually one of the better moments where he gets literally cut in two and one side splits down and the other side splits down. That's a kick-ass moment for sure. And I do love how we can see the language of the ghost that they can understand scribbled into the walls and into the floors, and our characters put on these special sunglasses, and that's how they're able to really read it or make it out. But wrapping it up, 13 Ghosts has always been one of my favorites. I think we have a knockout cast starting with Tony Shalhoub and Matthew Lillard. Everybody shows up and has a fun time. It's really expressed through the screen. You can tell everybody's having a blast. The practical makeup and the costume design on all 13 Ghosts, I think, are fantastic, and I think they stand the test of time still to this day. I still know a handful of friends who did get a nightmare or two off of this movie and how the ghosts look. I do have a couple nitpicks here with the movie, nothing too crazy. I would say my biggest one is probably the sound mixing in certain sequences when it comes to the ghosts and when they're speaking their language and the playback of it in the monitors. And I can see how some viewers, they said that it made them feel a bit disoriented or nauseous. Just the frequency of it, I believe. But again, it's nothing too crazy. I still love the movie. I'm going to give 13 Ghosts a personal strong 8.5 out of 10. And that's it, y'all. I'm your boy Fro. What do you think about 13 Ghosts? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Not your cup of tea? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Vincent Price original film is better? Do you think this remake or revision is a better film? Let me know. In the meantime, between time, I'm on to the next review. Thank you guys for watching. And I appreciate you. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Helps me out with the algorithm. Fro out. Thank you.